I want to start by thanking everyone in Boston, in the Boston community, who reminded us how much we have to be proud of this week. The people of Boston made it clear that we believe in tolerance, unity, and equality. It makes me proud to be mayor of this great city. Before I go any further, I'd like to just offer my prayers and condolences to the people of Barcelona on behalf of myself and the governor and the city of Boston, the Commonwealth, during this very difficult time. On Monday, the governor and I made it very clear we don't want hate groups to come to our city or our state. We will not tolerate any incitements of violence. We are taking every precaution necessary to keep our city safe. I have the utmost confidence in our public safety officials to keep us safe. They have a comprehensive plan in place, which the Secretary and the Commissioner will describe in more details in a few moments. There's been questions about why we granted a permit for the rally tomorrow. The courts have made it abundantly clear. They have the right to gather, no matter how repugnant their views are. But if we don't have the right to create an unsafe they don't have the right to create an unsafe conditions. So we're going to respect their right of free speech. In return, they must respect our city. The Boston Police Department has met with the Boston Free Speech Coalition to work on a safe pathway forward. They've agreed to specific rules for a rally on Boston Common. If anything gets out of hand, we will shut it down. We've also been in touch with the Southern Poverty Law Center. They've been guiding communities across the country on how to handle hate groups. They say that interacting with these groups just gives them a platform to spread their message of hate. They recommend that people should not confront these rallies. So we're urging everyone to stay away from the Common. At the same time, we can't look away. The children of our city are watching, and I want everyone who goes to the Common tomorrow to understand that. The young people of our city are watching TV, are following this. We have to make it clear what we stand for in the city of Boston. We have to support those who are targeted, and we have to stand together in unity. And we ask everyone to help us promote peace. Be safe. There's a chance of lightning tomorrow and thunderstorms in the morning, so we want you to watch out for that. Be smart. Do not bring backpacks, sticks, or anything that can be construed as a weapon. We will take them from you. Be aware, the Boston Common Garage, the Swan Boats, the frog ponds will all be closed due to public safety. There will also be we will not have a rally on City Hall Plaza tomorrow. I'll be spending most of my day, as I do every Saturday, out in the neighborhoods. Several of the Boston Housing Authority developments are holding a Unity Day. It's a tradition that started by public housing residents to promote peace and bring our communities together long before what's been going on in this country for the last several months. I'll be attending Ms. Mendez's 18th annual anniversary Find Your Voice in Peace Back to School barbecue. Mrs. Mendez lost 2 sons and 4 nephews to street violence. She dedicated her life to raising awareness about the needs of our country's youth. She's another powerful model of unity and peace. I'll also be going to the Henry Street Block Party. If you remember clearly, most of you in the press, Henry Street, you've been covering that, about the drug and gang houses that were on that street and how the neighborhood rose up and took that street back due to violence in our neighborhoods. So that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. What we won't forget are the other words we've heard from the stage throughout history when we go to that dance tomorrow. From that stage in 1852, Frederick Douglass gave his famous speech on the meaning of the 4th of July, which we remember every single year. From that stage in 1965, Martin Luther King spoke the words that still ring true today. This is not a battle of white people against black people, he said. It's a struggle between the forces of justice and injustice. From that stage about 10 years ago, Barack Obama was running for president of the United States of America. We began to imagine the idea of a country with its first black president. Those are the words we will remember. Those are the words we will live by. Again, I urge everyone to be on their best behavior on Saturday if you decide to come to Boston Common. We ask you to be peaceful, because tomorrow's march is in response to the hate that happened last weekend in Virginia. We don't respond hate with hate. We respond hate with peace. We want people to be civil, and we want everyone to make sure that we make Boston proud. The last thing I'd like to say to the media, we need you to help us. Don't give them the coverage that they're looking for. Instead, focus on Boston's unity. Thank you.